Hello and good morning, friends. Today I want to talk to you about what do we look for when I'm buying a house that has a well? What are the quick, easy things to look for while you're walking through before you spend all this money on this house and potentially run into some problems? So let's get into it. Let's hopefully talk about some stuff and let's learn together. Alrighty, so you're buying a house with a well. We see here we got our big blue tank. This is called our pressure tank, right? So how this works, the top part's going to be air, bottom part's going to be water, and there's a bladder in between. And so what'll happen is the pump that's in the well will push the water through that pipe down and into here. The pump will then push the water to compress the air until you get to your desired pressure setting. So this one's a 40-60 switch. So what that means is 40 psi, pump turns on, compresses that air, 60 psi, pump turns off. And then this is going to pneumatically push the water through the rest of the home. So every well system is going to have something very similar to this. It might be slightly larger, might be slightly bluer. Doesn't matter. Your pressure tank's super common, right? So what do you need to look for? Well, the first thing you want to make sure you look for when you're purchasing a house with a well is you want to come over and you want to look at your inlet line, right? So right here we can see that the pressure switch cap is not on entirely, but we have a ton of corrosion sitting right over here. So this level of corrosion is pretty aggressive, and you can see here that just about the entire check valve is green, right? We can see that there's no pressure in there, pressure gauge is broken, but the problem with having that level of corrosion is you run the risk of eventually having a pipe burst, and then you go from a not so great problem to a really bad problem. So this particular setup's a little bit different, right? So we have our check valve on the inlet line with the pressure switch right there. Usually that's down here. This particular one, I guess, for whatever reason, they just didn't have a whole lot of electrical line, so you have to kind of play the ball where the ball lies, and then that's probably why they did it that way. So we see here, water line comes in, goes down to here. So this is going to be what we call our T-assembly. So we can see that there's a pan underneath of this assembly. Usually, whenever you see a pan and there's plumbing, that means that there's been a leak at some point in the past. So it's super important to make sure that if you ever see something like this, you take note of it, because the odds of you having to do a replacement are pretty high. So if we look down in here, we can see all that corrosion. We can also see a snake skin sitting over there. That's always fun. But we see how corroded that all is. It's just a matter of time before this eventually goes bad and needs to get replaced. So when you're looking at these tanks, you want to make sure that you look at the tank itself, the inlet line, the plumbing, the T-assembly, and you want to look to see what else are we working with, right? So for perspective, we can see here that we have a discharge line that's cut. We have a supply line that's also cut. There probably was some kind of acid neutralizer or water softener here at one point, but it's no longer in place. You'd be asking yourself, well, why would they cut that out? Well, more than likely it probably broke, right? Could have broke, maybe they don't need it, maybe they changed their mind on that type of system and they wanted to switch something out and just never got around to it. So when you're coming into a house and you're doing a walkthrough, the easiest things to look for is, what does the pipe look like, right? That brass is supposed to be more of a yellow color, right? Sometimes you get copper, is it brown, right? If you have CPVC, like that stuff that's over here, right? It should be yellow. If it's not yellow, or if it looks weird, maybe something's wrong, right? And if you can notice that, that'll at least kind of give you an idea of what should you offer or what inspection should you put. A lot of people will do the waves of inspections just so they can get their offer accepted. But what the problem is, if you get your offer accepted, you waive inspections, and then you have it inspected and you find something wrong, you're kind of stuck, right? So this quick little walkthrough, you're able to kind of see a little bit more of what a professional would also look for. So again, the first thing I look for is I look for the supply line. I look to see what type of equipment we're working with, where's all the plumbing at, and then I look to see how corroded is it, how gnarly does it look, what's the age of it, right? So when you walk in, you want to figure out, where is it, how old is it dripping, is it leaking, or is there any evidence of it, like when they have a pan underneath of the plumbing, right? That's a pretty good indicator that at some point this thing was leaking. And then on top of that, you want to kind of see, when I run the sink, how well does that thing run? Does it run kind of meh? Does it pulse? Does it look weird? Does it sound weird? And all of those can be indicators that something else more might be going on, and that can help save you some money, right? Same thing goes for your septic. When you're walking around the property, taking your look, seeing what's going on, look for the pipes. Are they easily visible, right? Do you know where they're at? Do you see any staining in the toilet? Like if you walk over into the basement toilet and it's got this weird brownish staining to it, it could be iron, but it also could be a backup, right? So you want to kind of look to see, does it look like human waste has backed up into this toilet at some point? Does there look like there's any kind of water issues? Maybe there's water damage in the baseboards because maybe that toilet backed up, got water everywhere, right? These are very simple, easy things to do, but because the market is what it is, a lot of people are waiving inspections. So I think it's very important to know what you're looking for and be a little bit more aware so that you can save yourself money, headache, and time. Tell me below, when you were buying your house, did you know what you're looking for when you walked through? Did you kind of like take a look at the utilities? Did you look at the water heater? Did you look at the furnace? Did you look to see like what's going on over here, right? Tell me what you think. Tell me what you did. I'm very curious to see how everybody went about doing this at their houses, right? I hope this was useful. If you enjoyed this kind of content, I have more videos posted every day on the World of Well and Septic. Hit that like button, hit subscribe. I look forward to our conversation. I'll talk to you guys soon. Until next time.